Now, Jake Tapper is a guy that I recently had a bone to pick with in his description of what he thinks America is. He thinks it's center-right, which is, of course, not the case at all. He thinks the media is liberal. It's a joke. The media is totally corporate-driven. But from time to time, Jake Tapper does do the right thing. And he's an interesting character and not one that's easily typecast. So we got to give credit where credit is due. Now, in this case, he interviewed U.S. Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell. And now this is the guy that Lone Survivor is about, right? The movie, the book, etc., right? So Jake Tapper asked him some questions, and apparently the right wing was very mad about this. Let's try to figure out what they were mad about.
I was torn about the message of the film in the same way that I think I am about the war in Afghanistan itself. I don't want any more senseless American death, and at the same time I know that there are bad people there and good people who need help. Was that intentional?
Well, I don't know what part of the film you were watching, but hopelessness never really came into it. I mean, where did you see that? Because there was never at a point where we were just felt like we were hopelessly lost or anything like that. We never gave up or never felt like that we were losing until we were actually dead.
Forget hopelessness, just the sense of all these wonderful people who died. It seemed senseless. I don't mean to disrespect in any way, but it seemed senseless, all these wonderful people who were killed for an op that went wrong.
We spent our whole lives trained to defend this country, and then we were sent over there by this country, so you're telling me that because we were over there doing what we were told by our country that it was senseless and they died for nothing?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
That's what you said. So let me just say that, yeah, it went bad for us over there, but that was our job. That's what we did. We didn't complain about it. We went out there and did what we did best, and at the end of it, we weren't standing. They were. This was the job. We were going after a high-value target, and it just got switched on us.
Okay, first of all, Jake Tapper didn't say anything about hopelessness. He said it was senseless. And now he's trying to defend that with attacks from Glenn Beck and his folks saying, how dare you say this? Okay, so let me be clear about this. I don't know what Jake intended, and he can speak for himself. I'll be very clear about what I intend. Yes, those deaths were totally senseless. Okay, there was no reason that we should have been in Afghanistan at that point, let alone today, right? So there was a reason to go in Afghanistan in the first place. But 12 years later, as we stand today, 13 years later, as we stand today, there's no sense in it, let alone what happened in that particular incident. So it drives me crazy that those men were sent in there and they died for something that didn't make sense. And boy, did that happen on a mass scale in Iraq. And it's not dishonoring them. We're criticizing the people who sent them in to die and to get killed for no reason. That's senseless. Do you understand that point? It doesn't mean that Marcus Luttrell did the wrong thing. It doesn't mean that his brothers in arms did the wrong thing. We're criticizing the people who got them killed. But apparently, and we find this out, now that Marcus Luttrell is a big conservative and is apparently good friends with Glenn Beck, etc. And so, he's exposing the liberal media there. Jake Tapper gotcha. Yeah. Well, if Jake Tapper was right ahead of this mess and somebody had listened to him, now that's not his role, but if people like Jake Tapper had been listened to, well, your friends wouldn't have died. They'd be alive today. I mean, what did you fight for? You fought for what? A democratic Afghanistan, which we're now leaving, and with an incredibly corrupt government? We drove the Taliban, we drove Al-Qaeda out fairly quickly on, and the rest was a waste. So this criticism of Jake Tapper is total and utter nonsense. Now, to be fair to the right wing, they were not unanimous in this. Eric Erickson, Hugh Hewitt, and even the Daily Caller wrote articles defending Jake Tapper. So good on them for being at least principled and correct on that. Okay, so credit where credit is due. Jake Tapper is totally right on this. And I don't know where the hell Marcus Luttrell and Glenn Beck are coming from on it. And just because you were a hero in one case doesn't mean you get to be right about everything going forward. And it doesn't mean your political opinions have more merit than anyone else's. And the point that Marcus Luttrell made in that interview made no sense at all. So how do you like that for senseless?